somewhere in Asia. 2300 BC. The cradle of civilization. The first documented cultures. The Sumerians, Elam, Egypt. The Bronze Age. Continuation. After the rightful king, Sargon of Akkad, later known as the King of the World, defeated the usurper Lugal-Zagesi, also known as Gilgamesh or the King of the Land. The Akkadian Empire expanded west and east, but generation later it fell apart due to internal unrest. The autonomous Sumerian city-states of the past rose up. The empire sank into chaos and slowly dissolved. When the capital Akkad was destroyed, the empire also collapsed. More and more kings have declared their own kingdoms. The Elam grew stronger again in the east, but it was possible to push back through an alliance of the new empires. The new empires established themselves as equal opponents and often waged war with each other. They fought against each other, but stood together against Elam. Complex diplomatic agreements and protective alliances emerged. The kings had sophisticated networks of ambassadors and agents in all major city-states. Just like Game of Thrones. City walls were built, laws were passed, and wars were waged. Domesticated horses first appeared around 3500 BC, mainly in Central and West Asia, and became more and more important. Just like the chariot, as well as the bow and arrow. The city-state of Larsa soon controlled the Tigris and Euphrates, and thus the two rivers of Mesopotamia, with the power to turn off everyone's water. It was only later that the city-state of Babylon developed into an empire. Through clever diplomacy and alliances, Babylon was able to absorb Uppi and Asnuna in the east and gain additional allies with Assur, the Amorites of Mari and Yamhed. It wasn't until 1800 BC that the tyranny of evil men could be ended. Hammurabi, king of Babylon, mobilized his troops. After a pretext for war with Larsa, he sees his chance and goes into battle with his allies. After a long siege, he conquers the region. Babylon expands its borders and becomes the strongest power in the region. The other empires viewed Babylon's massive rise with suspicion. When Hammurabi again asks his allies for support, Mari, or Amorites, refuses the call. A serious mistake. A short time later, Mari was also incorporated into the Babylonian Empire, as well as large parts of Assur, or Assyria. This gave Hammurabi the title of King of Sumer and Akkad. But the new Babylonian Empire also repeatedly struggled with uprisings and new kings. In addition, wild hordes of Kassites repeatedly invaded and devastated the country, comparable to the Dothraki, fierce mounted archers. In 1700 BC, Ashur conquered Babylon under King Samsi-Adad. But his sons could not continue the empire after his death. In 1600 BC, a new power invaded Mesopotamia. The Hittites ravaged the city of Aleppo and conquered the Yamhed region. From there they continued their campaign to Babylon. Meanwhile in Egypt, the first resistance of the Egyptian vassals against their slave drivers arose as early as 2300 BC. The Libyans in the west, the Nubians in the south, and the city-states of Canaan in the northeast. The city-states of Canaan consisted of the cities of Jericho, biblical Zion, today Jerusalem, as well as Byblos, Damascus, Gaza, and others. In the Bible, Noah curses his son Canaan. The interpretation of the word Canaan is as follows: those who bow down, those who are bowed down, those who are bowed down, those who are humbled, those who are cast out, those who are subjected, and those who are withdrawn. But there were also immigrants from the Semitic region, attributed to Shem, the son of Noah. The Hebrews, today's Jews, developed in this area. In Upper Nubia, the Kerma culture, which began around 3500 BC, developed into the Kingdom of Kerma, which, along with Egypt, is the earliest African state known to us. Around 1700 BC, the Nubians rose up and conquered southern parts of Egypt. Frequent additions of weapons indicate a warlike nature of the Kerma people of this time. A little later, the city-states of Canaan also rose up. The Hyksos, translated as shepherd kings, a group of Semitic, Hurrian, and Amorite immigrants from the areas of Mesopotamia, unexpectedly conquered the northern territories of Egypt. They made use of advanced warfare techniques from the north. Chariots, sickle swords, and composite bowed and overran the Egyptians. Only a small part of Egypt remained as a vassal state of the Hyksos.